It's 10:03. Let's call this meeting Wichita County Commissioners Court to order. This time I'd like to call Matt Davis to give the invocation. Thank you.
Pray with me, if you will. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance and for you to allow these leaders to do the work in your name. And we thank you for everything you give us, and just ask that you bring us the much needed rain that this county needs. And we pray in your name. Amen.
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 Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it. Y'all would join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now the Texas pledge. Under the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you. Take your seats, please. I'd like to ask the court to address the consent agenda, please.
Judge, I've been through the consent agenda and would move for approval. I will second that motion, and it is a lengthy one today.
It is. But it goes quickly. All right. We have a motion by Commissioner Preston, a second by Commissioner Mahler to approve the consent agenda as presented. Any comments or questions on the items? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 1 on the general business, review and approve the emergency and regular bills.
Judge, I've reviewed the emergency and regular bills. Move for approval.
I'll second that, Judge.
Thank you. Motion by Commissioner Norris, second by Commissioner Gonzalez to approve the emergency and regular bills for payments. Any comments or questions on the bills? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 2 is to receive the quarterly report from the Wichita County District Attorney's Office regarding bond forfeiture collections. Ms. Kennedy?
Well, we finally had one of those quarters that it went down. I knew it was going to happen. I've been telling y'all it would probably happen. We've been surprised at how much we've been able to collect. I think there's a couple of different reasons why. This time last year, this quarter last year, we collected about $46,000 more than we did this quarter. Part of that was we had I don't know if y'all remember, but there was that back check, the hot checks backlog that Judge Butler and Judge King worked. A lot of those cases ended up on the January through March quarter of last year, so we just had a substantially high quarter at the first of last year. So while this quarter is a lot lower than that, it's a little bit lower than I would expect because we have a lot of cases that aren't settling. We have a couple of bondsmen in town who are pushing us on our settlement practices and are requiring us to settle for trial, which we're doing, but it's just making our collections go down a little bit. We expect by the end of the year we'll still collect that money, and we'll be collecting it at 100% instead of 80%. So we just got to kind of work. It requires a lot more work out of our office, but we'll work through them.
Okay. Well, 20% gain, but if take the time value out, though, it may not be as good a deal as getting that other 20%.
And that's always why, I mean, I know
Yeah.
I've talked to y'all about, we do agree to accept a lower amount on some cases just because of the time value of our office of having to go in, set cases for trial, and we have to do discovery and a lot of other things to get those cases ready for trial, but we're certainly willing to do it. And in fact, we were talking, I had some deadlines last week that we had to meet, but we were going to meet today and start looking at a schedule to get all of those set for trial. So.
Very good. Good. Could I have a motion in to accept the report for record?
So moved.
Second. Now, what are you going to do with it?
Motion by Commissioner Norris, second by Commissioner Gonzalez.
You're going to get left out.
Just sound like an echo to me.
Yeah.
Okay, to accept the report. Any other comments or questions? Yes, ma'am?
I do have one other comment that I would like to make.
Yes.
We've had for some time an uncollectible debt by a local attorney. And we did the writ of execution and came back uncollectible. As you know, under Sheriff Callahan, he let any attorney in town write bonds. Sheriff Duke, when he took office, makes them file financial statements. So some of these attorneys are no longer able to write bonds, but we still have all the old outstanding bonds from before. I have about a $5,500 judgment that went uncollected, But I have been able to get some information, and since this attorney is still on the appointment list in Wichita County, we're going to start collecting that money out of his attorney's fees. So I just want everybody to know that even when we feel like we have run all of our traps to try to get the money back from them, we will do everything that we can to try to get that money from people that owe us, because we're going to continue to have more cases come from those outstanding bonds, and I want the attorneys in town to know that we'll collect as much as we will against the sureties. So we'll send him a letter notifying him that if he doesn't pay it within 30 days, then we will take it out of his fees that come from Wichita County for his indigent services.
Okay. In thinking that idea over, have we done anything to go back and look at, let's say the case hasn't come, are all the attorneys now in line with what appears to be the appropriate financial data for what bonds they have out on clients right now?
There are some attorneys that have some outstanding bonds, no longer able to write, haven't been able to write since Sheriff Duke took office. But this particular attorney, when I came, he had over $4.5 million worth of outstanding bonds. Now I think it's less than $1 million, but there are still some outstanding. A $5,500 judgment went uncollectible. So no, he does not have the financial wherewithal to support the bonds that are outstanding. But that is up to the criminal side of the office whether to hold those bonds insufficient or not. And I have provided a report to Maureen to let her know that.
Okay, because I was going to say,
Because they have to go into each one of those cases and argue to the judge that the bond is insufficient.
Okay, that's the terminology I was looking for.
Right.
Whether we want to spend the time on that and
That's a lot of, if there's another way to collect this money, this is probably the better way to do it,
okay.
to keep them trying to get those bonds into court.
I am glad to hear you mention the attorneys for the record that you are working there, because that's often a complaint I get from the bondsmen. What about them? You know, it's the...
We send them their letters every month, just like we do every other surety. We work those cases the same. We have issues with some, and then we try to work those out. You know, for the most part, the attorneys work with us on paying timely, but we do have some that will be set for trial this year as well.
Okay. Very good. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Norris, second by Commissioner Gonzalez to receive the report as presented. Any other comments? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 3 is discuss and consider take action to approve the hiring of one regular full-time equipment operator, position 221.210.04 in Precinct 1 Road and Bridge, and approve an exception to the county's posting procedure and allow Commissioner Gonzalez and Mr. Crabtree to hire the current temporary staffing employee, Daniel W. Franklin, without posting a job announcement at up to a grade at 12, step C, and to approve the hiring of Mr. Franklin as soon as possible following his successful completion of pre-employment DOT testing. Commissioner?
Yes, I'd like to make that as form of a motion. We've been down several workers, and we tried Mr. Daniel Lair through my staff, and he's worked out real good, and I think that he'll be a real big asset to our road crew, especially being that he has mechanical knowledge and is going to be able to help us out with maintaining our equipment.
It says DOT testing. Does he currently have a CDL and all that? This is just drug testing or other things? What's required in DOT testing? I saw Ted a second.
Where's Ted? He can answer that.
Judge, just anytime we have an employee come just for any type of regular job in any office, we do a non-DOT test. But when CDL drivers or these positions come to work for us, we have to do a DOT test for a physical exam and the drug test. It's just more involved because they have to go through those steps to get a DOT certification so that they can get their CDL. So
Okay.
it's just a more involved drug test and physical exam.
Okay. But he's been working for the precinct as a temp. That wasn't done by...
No, sir. And the reason being is because when we use the My Step employees as temps, we don't use them in CDL positions. We just use them in support positions, but they don't have to have a CDL, and we do
Okay.
not let them drive CDL vehicles. So
Okay.
when they come to work for us now, it's just like they're starting as a brand new employee. We do our own DOT drug test, our own DOT physical, work steps, and everything, just like.
Okay, that, I was wondering how we had them this long and then all of a sudden we're starting them. Okay, but you answered that by they do not operate in a CDL required position.
That's correct. Most
while
of
they're
the
in
time,
that
they'll
town.
drive pickups and things like that in the support role.
Okay.
Now, just to ease your conscience a little bit, when they come from my staff, everybody, we ask them to do a drug test, which is just the dipstick drug test. And then also we ask them to do the criminal history and background and DL checks and things like that, but they do that just for themselves because we ask them to do so.
Okay, thanks, sir. We have a motion by Commissioner Gonzalez. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thanks, sir. Okay, motion by Commissioner Gonzalez, second by Commissioner Preston is to approve the item as stated. Any other comments or questions? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item 4 is discuss, consider, take action, authorize the purchase of 2 Dell Venue 11 Pro tablets with docks, keyboards, and monitors in an amount not to exceed $3,500 for 2 sheriffs, jail lieutenants to be paid from the appropriate line as determined by the county auditor. I don't see anybody here to speak to that item. And
You want to put it back and get somebody up here to speak on it?
well, it would seem appropriate.
Do I need to go get someone?
No, thanks, no. I'm trying to look to see if I can recall any significant justification on that.
Oh,
There's Ashley's quote.
See if you can get anybody from there. We'll go ahead and receive Mr. Hampton's report.
let's just table it. I did check with Ashley, and she did go through it did go through her.
They went through, I'm just curious, what all of a sudden why are these replacing 2 PCs or, you know, what's?
Right.
Seems like a lot of money for a tablet, Judge.
Yeah,
$1,700.
Two of them at 17, that's.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't think those things were that
I
expensive.
didn't
so
either.
That was my question.
Because did we get a number of those?
We got several of them, last month, maybe?
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
been since
It
Christmas.
sounds like these include the monitor,
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
dock stations.
Yeah.
They act as a PC instead of just a tablet.
Yeah, and the tablet has some capabilities the iPad doesn't in that case, but yeah.
I don't know if, Derek is on this one.
Okay. Mr. Hampton, let's go ahead with your report, please.
Honorable Judge, distinguished court, you have before you the end of the month for February. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to respond to them. Just to give you an idea of where we are in the trailing 12 months, we're 2% ahead where we were this time last year in February,
Ahead, meaning we've
Ahead.
spent more money.
meaning we were in the black 2% more than we were in February of 13, Commissioner. And really and truly, I think that's an outstanding number because of the fact is, contrary to what our distinguished colleagues in Washington say, that inflation is definitely here. Cost of gasoline, I mean, I pay the bills, so gasoline and road material, unbelievably accelerated.
Repair parts, extremely expensive now. Tires, batteries, those things. In some cases, Bob, in my experience, up 30 to 40% in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Extremely high.
Well, the
So
other thing,
you are to be commended. I congratulate all the department heads for
Yeah.
keeping their lids on.
Absolutely.
but the other thing that's kind of interesting with that's with a 0.6 cent reduction in the tax rate.
That's right, Judge,
And
you're not
so that
pointing out.
does mean we're getting closer to, the budgeting and the expenditures are matching up better. But what people have a hard time realizing is the amount of contingency we have in county government. And most of it is caused by the court system. We can't determine the number of people are going to be in jail. We can't limit that. We can't determine how many people a year at a time are going to receive attorneys. We can't limit the medical care we provide in the jail. So that speaks well that balance is working. And I do know we have
You
some
don't know how
construction
many
things coming up.
Major murder trials you're
No,
gonna have.
no.
All that stuff is part of it.
Yeah. And we moved the one from Amarillo is now going to go to, where's the venue on, the one that was in Judge Fudge's court, I think was going to be Amarillo? Canyon. Oh, okay, that's still pretty close. Okay. All right.
Yeah, these are good numbers.
Yeah.
I want you guys to know how much I appreciate it.
Okay.
I know
Well, we thank you, but
Mr.
it's-
Wall spends a lot of midnight oil just burning up the numbers, but there's just so many things that we can keep a handle on. Everything else is pretty much got us by the nose.
I could have a motion in
It's a
from the
tough place to be got.
court to accept that report and have the
Yeah, I
members of
would
the court
move that
sign.
we accept this, Judge.
I'll second that and authorize the commissioners and county judge to sign it.
All right.
Was that part of your
Yeah,
motion?
that was
Part of it was, yeah.
Any other comments? Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Chief Meadow, we're glad to see you back and up. And you look like you're feeling better than the reports I heard on you last week.
I'm getting there.
All right, good. Can you tell us what the two tablets are for and what it's replacing or adding to? Or
Yes, when we bought the last round, I think it says 2 lieutenants, but it's actually 1 lieutenant and a jail investigator, the guy that does all of our listening to phone calls and interviewing inmates. Basically, anybody that's going to have would in the past have had a laptop, which is more expensive than these, we're going with these tablets as we replace things. And they're taking the tower computers out, or we get one of these. It's just what we're going to instead of the regular computers. And it's for the other lieutenant who doesn't have one and our investigator.
okay, is there some sort of method these are signed out to individuals? Because that's pretty portable, despite having the docking station and everything. When you take it out of there, that's
Yeah,
it.
they're assigned to them. It's listed in their equipment. In our jail software lets us list the equipment that people have.
Okay.
And like our lieutenants, they don't all have their own docking station because they have 2 offices, so they share docking stations. There's a lieutenant office downtown and a lieutenant office out at the annex. So we bought 2 docking stations instead of buying all the lieutenants their own.
Okay, good.
But that's what this is for, is to give our 3rd jail lieutenant his tablet and the investigator, because they can carry it with them.
Okay, yeah. Those are, I like that device. I think y'all made a good choice there.
They're a good piece of equipment, and they are ultra portable, as you pointed out. So.
Correct. Yeah, that's the only thing that worries me about those. So. Okay. And it's amazing at what age. I was walking through church the other day for a meeting, and there were 2 teachers and a little bitty kid looking for her great colored iPad that had been misplaced. And I'm thinking, what is she doing here with that? But
Right.
yeah, she wasn't the only one that had one in the classroom. No, it's just part of life. So, Okay. All right, could I ask the court to take action on this item, please?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Gonzalez, second by Commissioner Norris to approve the item as presented. Any other questions, comments? Yes, ma'am.
You may know the answer to this. Is there any way we can clarify where that's funded from? If this be funded from the county jail department, the sheriff, or from the IT department? I didn't say on the agenda request or the agenda packet.
From 560 to 1, yeah. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Okay. We're down to the part of public comments. Anyone have anything to bring up?
We wish y'all had Easter.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
It's
Just
Sunday
wanted to
this year.
mention that the Thor 5K race was this weekend, and it was, I'm pretty sure it benefits schools. I know it's a nonprofit race, and it benefits schools, and the leadership of Wichita Falls puts it on, and it had over 1,000 participants the last time that I checked at $40 per registration fee.
Wow.
So it raised a pretty good amount of money, and it's pretty good.
Did you participate?
Yes, sir, I did.
How did you make out, Matt?
I made it, barely.
Well, you don't look too much worse for wear today.
Limbs are all still operating. Everything looks good.
You're here this morning.
Functioning, barely.
Yeah,
Lauren took him to the car wash to clean him up.
I bet that's right.
yeah.
Judge,
Yeah.
we're having our rural landowners meeting with the sheriff and some of his staff tomorrow evening at 6:30 in Iowa Park. It'll be upstairs at the library, and just to kind of open a dialogue and give the sheriff's department a chance to interact with some of our rural landowners. And we've got several issues we want to talk about. I think it'll be a productive meeting. We're looking forward to it. So if you own land or operate land in rural Wichita County and would like to be a part of that, it's at 6:30 tomorrow evening in the Iowa Park Library at the meeting room upstairs. So drop by. I think we'll have a good get together.
Concerning the Bureau of Land.
No, this is something we've been going to do for about a year, and just get a bunch of our farmers, ranchers, rural landowners together and meet the sheriff and some of his staff and just open that dialogue and see if there's something we can do to help him and what his plans are for the rural landowners. It's kind of a unique deal. We've been going to do it for about a year and it got shoved back, so it's just going to be a good chance to meet and open the dialogue and have that discussion.
You also might fill Mr. Hampton in on the...
Oh, yes.
Yes.
There is a development, and you
Yes.
fit right into this. As you...
You just scared Meredith.
As you all know, this has been an ongoing deal with this BLM deal, and if you've not kept up with it, is the Bureau of Land Management, for some reason, has decided that all of a sudden they own the Red River and they want to come in and take control of it, which creates lots of heartburn for the residents of Wichita County that own property that is adjacent to that, and it's the same with a lot of the counties along the Red River. So the judge got involved in it, and we got in touch with Mac Thornberry's office, and Congressman Thornberry's taken the lead on this to try to get that taken care of. Lee Harvey's been actively involved in that and doing some research along with Bill Elder, and golly, if I get to name the names, it's going to be, I'll leave a bunch of people out. And of course, Bill Elder has represented a lot of people in deed actions and things along that Red River, very knowledgeable about it. And we've had meetings now with our adjoining counties, Wilbarger County, Clay County. They're also interested in this, and I've had calls from commissioners all up and down the Red River this last week wanting to know about this. We contend that BLM does not need to come and take control of that river, and open that to just wide open for public recreation, because they don't have the ability to manage it. And as Bill Elder will tell you, they don't have the authority to do that anyway. And we've got some of their own documents that Lee Harvey dug out that pretty much state that they do not. But it's a major concern for landowners, and we've been working pretty hard on it, and we've got a lot of groups involved. I know the governor's office is involved now. We've got Congressman Hall's office involved. We've got information to both of our United States senators. They're getting directly involved in it. The governor has, I think, alerted
Commissioner Patterson.
Commissioner Patterson, the land office. They're involved in it. And we're getting landowners. There is a group that's going together to try to put a list of landowners along that river in case it comes to the point of a class action lawsuit. We don't know where this is headed, but we don't feel like it's in the best interest of our taxpayers here in Wichita County, and that's our main concern, that this happens. So we're fighting it. Now, get to your part of it. There's a gentleman over in Clay County that's been involved in this fight for years and was a member of the Compact Committee that forged the agreement between Texas and Oklahoma years ago to operate the way we are now, and it's actually operating very well under the current compact. But his name is Tommy Henderson. And Texas Farm Bureau sent a crew up here and did a news story on what's going on and what's proposed, and Tommy was in that, involved in it. Well, the thing went viral on the internet, and we had a militia group from, I think, in North Dakota, Judge, I believe is where it was, called wanting Tommy Henderson's phone number because they wanted to get in touch with him, and said they were ready to gather arms and come down here and defend the Red River. And we immediately decided that Bob Hampton would be right up your alley to join in on that. So, and they're serious. I am not joking. They literally called wanting to come down here and said, we'll come stand with you guys and defend private property rights of the Red River. So that's where we
I
are.
think Sheriff Duke's looking into how to deputize
Yeah,
them.
we'll let you know. So,
Seriously, though, in Sunday school yesterday, the conversation turned around to the Bundy Ranch in Nevada,
yes,
and where that ranch, that family's been ranching there for over 100 years.
yes,
They've been grazing their cattle on this free land. Years ago, the government came in and announced that there was a kangaroo pack rat that was being
endangered
or
species,
tortoise that,
supposedly.
you know, had 3 feet or something. I'm not sure what it was. But anyway, they rustled 100 head of cows the other day, and BLM did. And of course, you don't hear that on the news, but when somebody takes somebody else's stock, in Texas talk, it's rustling.
yeah.
But they said, you know, there's something more to this than meets the eye because the government doesn't do that. And I said, they're doing the same thing to the Red River. And so I appreciate what y'all are doing about this, but the word is not getting out. We just don't perceive our own government doing this type of thing. But isn't it amazing how the Bureau of Land Management has suddenly come to the front?
It is
It's almost like
interesting.
EPA.
And one of the things that jumped out to us when this first started was, you know, a lot of people might say, well, this is not a county fight. Well, I contend that it is a county fight because we've got our taxpayers that are involved, and there have already been some altercations along that river with the limited access to it now. And my comment the night that we had the first BLM meeting was, I said, if you open that to absolute public access, just pretty much unlimited, and that's one of the proposals they're talking about, I said, I can tell you right now, my sheriff is not manned nor equipped to police that thing up there. Who is going to take care of that? And they didn't have an answer for us, really. But that's going to be, I mean, that's one of the questions that has to be answered. And Derek, I don't think you guys want to be up there in the Red River and all those things. I mean, we're looking at it, but they're going to expect the taxpayers of Wichita County to pay for that. And I think, yes, the county does have a stand in this deal. We do have a fight in it. And I've been just tickled with the response that we've got. I mean, I've had calls from commissioners all up and down the Red River in the last week wanting information. We're adding them to the mailing list and trying to keep everything organized. And I suggest that anybody that's interested in it is to get with the county judge, get on that mailing list where you've got the information. We voted last week to become a cooperating agency so that we would have a seat at the table. Our Texas State Soil and Water Conservation Board is also going to be a cooperating agency, as well as many other people in Texas, and that's not so much that we want to cooperate with what they're proposing, but you have to become one of those cooperating agencies to get a seat at the table and at least be involved in the dialogue. That's what we're doing. We think it's a big deal, and we definitely think it's our business, and we're going to stay on top of it. So that's where we are. And the militia, well, that's we're putting you in charge of that, Hampton. So
You're the liaison officer.
I think the cattle were given back yesterday, Bob. I saw that on TV. Yeah. They decided they'd done it wrong, or they had wronged the guy, so the cattle are back.
100 head of mama cows right now is worth about $200,000. Pretty significant.
Wow.
Well, Judge, on a lighter note, I think I think that we have an event in Burke Burnett that the Lions Club's sponsoring, and I'll let Mr. Lee Harvey speak about it.
Oh.
Well, thank you, Ms. Doris. We are having a Taste of Town. The Lions Club does a fundraiser every year. This year's going to be April the 26th. Our local restaurants come together and promote their restaurants. It's a flat rate to get in the door. You just eat all you need. You're miserable. There's no cost available, so you have to go home and nap. We have a band, and we give away some scholarships. It's a good fun time. So if you've got time, go join us in Burke Burnett. April 26th.
And the Lions Club does a lot. They help the senior citizens and the Boys and Girls Club, and a lot of the events, everything stays in town. We're proud of them. They're not quite as good as the Rotary, but they're okay.
The reason that we're not Rotarians is because Rotarians have standards.
Okay.
A little bit like this now.
Yeah, you say that. When I was in Kiwanis in Florida, when I got out of the Army, their deal was that the Kiwanians did the work and the Rotarians supplied the money, and everybody seemed to be real agreeable with that. So, all right, anything else before we go into closed session? Since we're operating on such a high level right now.
Yes.
But, okay, it is 10:37, and we will recess to go into closed session. I'd ask anyone not involved in this, please leave the courtroom.
Bob, do you have a can?